Hello, I'm Whisper. This is Dyson Sphere Program. We're going to get back into our game where we left off. Where's the mouse? There we are. This is actually take two because I got started to waffle a bit, and you deserve better than that. If you're taking the time to watch, you really deserve better than that. Now let's see. I'm going to pull up this. Now the reason I'm going to pull up this is because there was a very fair comment by a what was his name, J Miles-X6C, on a video a day or so ago, and he says, hey, why are you still using these wind turbines? And yeah, he's totally right. He just didn't know my plan was to switch to solar right now. However, he did suggest how do I put it? He did suggest putting 100 smelters down and tapping a whole bunch of stone to get a bunch of silicon, which is quite doable. That is a viable strategy. However, it's not something I would normally do, and I will show you why. Whoops, let's pull out these, and I guess we can hide those. Anything else that's not required? Anything else that is required? We'll just make sure we've got these. Right, I think we've got everything we need for building. Let's look at the tech tree. We'll pause this for the moment. Now we get the stone to silicon recipe here, reasonably early in the blue stage. So we do all our regular basics, get our electromagnetic, start doing these items. What would it be? It would probably be this down the tree. Maybe these if we wanted to go for the battlefield bases early. However, to get this, we will need silicon plate, and we would need this. So it depends how early we would want battlefield bases, whether I would put down a build to convert stone to silicon, because that's 10 stone to silicon, one silicon ore, and it takes 10 seconds. So essentially that's 10 stone a second, and 10 smelters will get us one silicon ore a second on average. Now for this little exercise, we're going to assume, oh, we don't have that. Oh my lord, we don't get green belts until red science. Well, we're going to assume that we have red science. I will assume that we have red science, just for the illustration of throwing down a bunch of smelters. In fact, that's actually a bit short. Can we get a... You're only covering 5? Get out of here. We need to cover an 8. Or a couple of 7s at least. There's a 7. And the reason I say that is because if we're covering 6, that gives us 3 a second. That one gives us, so that one gives us 3.5 a second. Can we get another 7? There's 7. Won't bother with that yet. And we're just going to assume we're putting down a block of 10 smelters. So I'll just put that here. There, yes. Don't want 14, we want 10. That's us. We will assume that these are Mark II belts. just for the purpose of this exercise. Let's put it over here. Nah, we'll put it there. Doesn't hurt. That's going to be raw ore. That is just to cover things. We're going to be doing this recipe. Yeah. And now, you know what? I should not have put you there. I will put you there. Now let's copy this. Down to there will do. Just barely fits, which works, but a little bit dodgy, so I will cover a bit of that area better. Huh. You'd almost think I planned that. How easily that went in straight. Let's hook in another. Can we get, we've got a 7 there. Whoops, we had a 7 I thought. We have a 7 there. We have a 7 there. Excellent. So if these were Mark II belts, we'd pretty much fill the belt. We'd get about 10 per 7, 7, 14, 6, 20, divided by 2, 10. Yep. And that is 10 smelters, 10 smelters. Now this is 1/5 of the 100 which was suggested in a comment, and this is a fair comment because this is something that people will do early just to kickstart things. And I should have put down probably 3 here. To make the plate. I'm putting down 3 so that we can catch up on the backlog. There we go. We'll let that run and catch up on the backlog a bit. While it's doing that, it'll chow down pretty quickly. That makes 2 silicon ore a second. 2 of those chew down 2 silicon ore a second. And every 2 seconds they'll make 1. So effectively they're chewing down 4 silicon ore to make 2 silicon plate. Good old lovely ratio we have there. Let's have a look at the planet. This is our first stone vein. We've got 20 out of the 100. Second stone vein. Third stone vein. Fourth. Fifth. Oh, do we only have about 5 stone veins on this one? Well, yeah, I suppose. It's not exactly our jumpstart planet, is it? Sixth stone vein. And then we are back to where we started. So we tap most, or a large number of veins, widely separated, on our home planet to do this. We do indeed have a monitor, so let's see how many we get in a second. Greater than or equal to 0. We'll just let that run. We've got enough there for 14, I think that is. Yep. 10 per, yep. 14. 15 solar panels. This is okay for trickle feeding at the beginning. I'm pretty sure if we look at this, it's something like about 60 silicon plates a minute, which will be 6 solar panels a minute. Like I say, it could definitely be used to trickle build solar panels in the beginning. Excuse me, having a drink. Where are we at? It's blinking on 60 a minute. Yes. So 10 per panel, 6 per minute. This is quite viable if you want to do that. Personally, I would prefer to put that into processors, because there are several items which do require processors if I was going to do this. But now we have to repeat this 5 more times across the planet, and then we have to get all this together in one place. We don't have any logistics at present at that stage in the game. Our logistics here doesn't even start until red. So this is the point where you get drones and logistics drones, logistics bots and logistics drones. So unless we want to move those around manually or build individually at each place, it's kind of ouch to do it this way. Just let that clean its way through. Yeah, 60 a minute. We've probably been 1, 2, 3, 4, less than 5 minutes. So 5 sixes, we would have 30 panels in 5 minutes. Great for trickle feed. If we wanted to go massive parallel with 100 smelters instead of just 20, a little bit more of a logistics problem. Right, let's just tidy up here, because I don't really want to be leaving this floating around. What am I doing there? I'm supposed to be deleting these things. I will leave the turbines here because they're really not worth picking up, and it does give us a bit more for kick-starting our setup. Goodbye, not wanted. So yeah, totally legit question. Personally, I would not put into solar panels because it would be sort of slow. about 30 panels every 5 minutes, or in an hour, or is it 6 panels a minute? 360 panels in an hour. It would do, depends how slow you want to play. However, I would rather put that silicon, base starting silicon, into processors because they're a little more useful for me at that point. This actually looks like a decent place to do solar panels. If I can get 30 a second out of each of those, and I should be able to get 30 a second out of there, and we can build around here. So let's come across. We'll do processors in a bit, but I want solar panels now. One good thing about wind turbines is that they do actually make a halfway decent power line. You do get a bit of power from it. Alright, let us bury this vein. And we will set up our... actually, just so you can see, I do have one that I often use. We're going back on the stone kick. Let me just upgrade all this lot. And I might throw down some battlefield bases while I think about it. We will need them in a time. So that would be feeding, if these were yellow belts, we can only take 6 aside. So that's why there's only 6 smelters. Makes about 1.2 silicon ore every second on average. Apologies for that sneeze, I hope I didn't blow your brains out. And that smelts down to 0.6 silicon plate every second. And I use that sometimes when I want to, like I say, get stuff for babs and what have you. Because in the early game, I might want to build fast, and those do require silicon. But I don't go whole hog on it, just so you know. Right, now let us start. Oh, quickly, I'm doing some asides again, aren't I? This is what the new attributes are. You can put, I don't know if it's going to come through well in this video, you can put icons and you can say, alright, input, interim, output, whatever else you want to do. If you wanted to go, I have no idea. Stick on an icon, or maybe not there. Put that there, and you can say makes, you probably wouldn't even use that icon. We could put here, where are we? If we were doing this, that would be, say, 3 seconds, would not even make 1, so 3+ seconds to get enough for 1 microprocess. And I can just go save changes, and you have whatever. So you can do quite a bit. This is Whisper version 1. You don't get to see me make this originally. Well, not make, but remake. Anyhow, enough waffling. Let us get to a proper build for our solar panels. Dum dum, that's all we need. Yep. That can charge. How big is our... Oh yeah, 172 megawatts. That is one good thing of having the dark fog holes to fill up. Thinking about it, that's a really strange way to say it. You know what I mean though. Dark fog does give us geothermal holes, geothermal spots. Very handy. Then maybe I should not put that there. Maybe I should just put that there. Sure, I saw a 7 somewhere. There we are. It will be very nice to get some of the advanced mining machines eventually. Can I get 6? Not quite. I can get 5. Because then this becomes much less tedious. Let me think. That should just about fill about. It's not very good, I'm afraid. Not very good at all. One thing with the mining machines is if you have enough power, you can crank them up. Let them rip. That won't be 60 a second, but it will be, sorry, 30 a second. But it should be decent. I will throw down, I think I have a blueprint just for that. Monitor throughput, yes. And let's just see how much we get a second through there. If we're lucky, we get 30 a second. If not, well, this is not going to be as efficient as I would hope. Foundation. Let's not hide things. We're going to need it, aren't we? Anywhere else? That should make sure. Try again. 8. Nice. Always good when you can get 8, 7 or 8, or even 9. That's a beauty when you can get that. Get 8 there. It makes it so much easier to fill the blue belts. We'll stick with 6. This one's going to be a little bit more awkward. Ooh, 9. Five is decent enough. Can I get 5? No. There is a point where you don't even bother for 2, unless it's 4 or 3 is an absolute minimum. It is not worth trying for. We've got some 8s here, so that should get us very close to what we absolutely need. Can I skin through here? No, I'll have to come over. No troubles. Actually, we'll do it down there because I think we need to go down here. Since we have a belt crossing, we'll use it. Okay. Someone's telling us we have 60 a second, so chances are good that we'll have 60 a second for this as well. Let's just clear out that stone, we don't want it. And we must be doing 60 a second for it to fill at that rate. That is handy. Now let's get started over here. Pull a few more of these. Just do that. Look. Oh, we've filled up. Well, it's probably 60 a second between the two of those, which is always nice to have. That. Oh, nice. We will take 4. Can we get 5 or 6 here? We can get 5. That's going to be about as good as we're going to get though. Just to help with building. Okay. Okay, that's 60 a second silicon ore, and why did I choose that? That one, my friend, that one. That is the end product. What was I babbling about? 60 a second silicon ore, which becomes 30 a second silicon plate, and 30 a second copper plate. Copper ore becomes 30 a second copper plate. We are ready to start going. Let us put this here. We'll leave a gap. Actually, I'm not even going to do that yet. Oh. What I will do is I'll put that in and then we can just copy paste later. There is something to be said for doing things efficiently, and that is not efficiently. Not going to choose the ore just yet. Now that is a point. Should I put this one over? It doesn't matter, we have plenty of space. We have a whole planet. Let's put it in its target. And I guess its target we could put there. Yeah. Doesn't hurt. I believe that I have actually semi-standardized on a blueprint for these, but I just do this so we can essentially see that, yeah, this is how it will run the first time you're doing it, so it's good repetition. Okay, now we'll do the same thing again. Except we'll take out these because we don't need them. I don't think anyway. And we will change. Getting our research coming along nicely. No, let's hook that in. And now let's feed these through. And those should give us plenty. Another thing we need, let me just double check. We need electronics. I'm not going to make them here because if I remember rightly, let's just double check. Yeah, our planet is a bit short on the iron. So we will pull those in from off planet. Probably... Not sure I like the provider receiver change. Remote demand local supply used to work quite well for me, but things change and it looks like we do not really have. Oh no, those are only 15 a second each. What we will do here is we will put in these, and let's just limit that to about 2000. Was 2000 360 kilowatt each, so 1000 is, it's not 36 megawatts, it's 360 megawatts. That ought to be plenty for pretty much any planet that we need. Possibly not do that either. Alright, making these. 6 seconds, we're getting, what is it, 30 a second of each? So that would be 3, we could make a second. which is a nice amount. We do not have these out yet, so let's put them out. Don't need those a chock block, don't need those for the moment. Alright. Those were Mark 1s. That would be 1 a second. Because they're, sorry, if those were Mark 2s, that would be 1 a second. Because we're running at 0.75, we need to put in a couple more. And that is the equivalent. And I should move that one further over and do that again. What we're going to do is return. You think, oh, Dark Fog Swarm is launching an assault. Where are you, you ratbags? You've actually landed somewhere. There you are. Where are you doing? You're coming over to me, eh? Wonderful, that gives me another. Here I am going wonderful. That gives me another, what did I do there? Start again. I want you here. Build. Now, goodbye. That gives me another geothermal spot. Nice. So where were we? 8 of those is the equivalent of making 6 a second. Sorry, making 1 a second. So there's 2 a second, and we want to make 3 a second. So we need a bit more here, and we need to tack another 8 onto the end. 4 and 4. There we go. And now, let us bring out our materials. Oops. You actually need to be one more. Let us start hooking these together. Out and out. And there we are, we have these being made. Should be about 3 a second on average. Nice, we will actually have our power problems a bit better solved on this planet. Not so much on the other planet. I mean this one. Oh no, here's a solar energy of 119. We can get rid of some wind turbines and slap that down. Alright, I will save this as A, because we are now going to go and happily take a certain dark fog base. Where are we? Over there. So we need to get down here. Another power hub. About there is probably as close as we need to get. Come on, missiles. There we are. Has that got it all? I think so. Beautiful. All right. I think we'll leave it at that. I'll just save the game. And where are we? What happened there? Save game. 26. And yeah, that's us. Enjoy Dyson Sphere program. Cheers.